Nevertheless, nevertheless, I'm struck by that word today because it describes how something will resolve in a way that naturally it should not. Something will resolve in a way that naturally it should not. For example, one does not simply walk into Mordor. Nevertheless, should it be the will of the council, Gondor will see it done. Nevertheless, I can't believe I turned my back for 2 minutes to watch the Thanksgiving parade, and I turn around just to see my brother ate my brownie. He thought it was his. It wasn't. It was mine. Nevertheless, maybe not today, maybe tomorrow. Nevertheless, one day I'm going to forgive that. Or showing up at my apartment, living out on our own. My roommate, Scooter, we're going to make it, man. Hey, check it out. We're going to make it through the weekend. Look what I got. Chicken pot pie. Sat it down. Go to the restroom. Come out 2 minutes later. He's there licking his fingers. You got to be kidding me. You just ate my chicken pot. You ate the chicken pot. I was going to share, but you ate the whole thing? Really happened. Nevertheless, still working on that one. Something will resolve in forgiveness and restoration. Something will resolve in victory. Something will resolve in a way that naturally it's beyond our power to fix. Psalm 106, it says, "Praise the Lord, O give thanks to the Lord, for he is good." How do you describe the one who brings about a resolve to something that naturally should be disaster, and he turns it around to something completely, profoundly wonderful? "Oh, give thanks to the Lord, for he is good, and his loving kindness is everlasting. Who can speak of the mighty deeds of the Lord, or who can show forth his praise? How blessed are those who keep justice, who practice righteousness at all times, remembering what he has done." And Psalm 106 goes through recounting how he redeemed them from Egypt, how he broke the bonds of their slavery and led them out, and when they forgot the wonders of what he has done. It says our fathers in Egypt did not understand your wonders. They didn't understand what he was doing, how he was bringing a resolve that naturally should not be and bringing about something wonderful, providing for them. They didn't understand when he took care of them. And then he didn't even remember. They didn't remember his kindnesses. Even though even not understanding the profoundness of what was done, even the simple providing for their needs, they didn't remember. And it says that they rebelled. And I think of parents. I just fed you. Nevertheless, I will feed you again. I just washed these clothes. I just washed you. It seems that they're clean clothes. They seem determined to mingle with the dirty. And the children seem determined to mingle in marker wars. Nevertheless, I will wash them all again. Continue to care for them in ways that the children will can't possibly understand and will not remember. Every diaper changed, every chastisement for their good, every meal made, bottle feeding, clothes washed, every gift, every resolve, that naturally should not have been, but was provided. The same way God's people, led out of Egypt, now wandering in the wilderness. After they sang and believed his words in verse 12, they sang his praise. Next verse 13, they quickly forgot. They craved intensely in the wilderness and tempted God in the desert. Verse 19, they made a calf in Horeb and they worshipped a molten image. 24 and 25, they despised the pleasant land. They did not believe in his word, but they grumbled in their tents, and they did not listen. They provoked him to anger with their deeds. Verses 34, 35, 36, they did not destroy the peoples that were under God's condemnation, that were in complete and utter sin against God. And God had warned them against mixing and mingling with these people, learning their practices, and the snare that they would bring. It says they did not destroy the peoples as the Lord commanded them, but they mingled with the nations, and they learned their practices, and they served their idols, which became a snare to them. Even sacrificed their sons and their daughters to demons and shed innocent blood, and on it goes. You know, this is not the physical kingdom anymore. But are there not things in our hearts and in our lives that we're called to destroy, that cannot exist together? For some of these things to remain, it multiplies and multiplies, and slowly it destroys our faith. It slowly destroys our relationship with God. Are we not called to be rid of some things? Do we mingle with people, places, things, thoughts, pictures, images that we shouldn't? Do we learn the practices of a culture that has different gods, has different aims, different desires? Do we mingle with them and learn their practices and think it's no big deal? Do we learn their practices and serve their idols? What is it that we praise and seek praise for? What is it that we sacrifice for in our life? What does our world revolve around? What is our idol? What is our God? Who is our God? It says they did not destroy the peoples as the Lord commanded. They mingled with the nations and learned their practices, served their idols, and it became a snare to them. Are we setting snares for ourselves? Are we failing to understand the wonders of what God has done for us, failing to remember what he's done, and rebelling against him? At the end of the psalm, towards the end, verses 43 and 44, many times he would deliver them. They, however, were rebellious in their counsel and so sank down in their iniquity. And yet here's the hope. If that's where we're at right now, if that's where we're at tomorrow, verse 44, nevertheless, he looked upon their distress when he heard their cry. So cry out to him. Nevertheless, he hears, restores, forgives, saves, and loves his people. So I pray that you may be active in the sharing of your faith, and when we fail and when we don't, nevertheless, he redeems us still. I'll see you all tomorrow on the next video.